Well, the first in the South primary is just days away. And I got to tell you, folks, this has been one of the craziest days on the campaign trail that I've seen in a while. And Mitt Romney has to be the luckiest guy in politics, because on a day when we see that he has offshore accounts and he loses Iowa, with Rick Perry withdraws from the race and Newt Gingrich's second wife threatens to derail his campaign. So what's going on down in South Carolina? Well, we have boots on the ground, and standing by right now is Pajamas Media CEO Roger L. Simon in Charleston, South Carolina. Let's go to Roger.
Hey, this is Roger Simon from one of the great cities in the United States, on FaceTime, by the way, not Skype, Charleston, South Carolina, one of my favorite places. And I'm obviously here for the big debate tonight, but, you know, not all the candidates have been announced yet. One of them, I have a suspicion, because tomorrow our own PJ Media legal editor, Christian Adams, is going to be speaking in between Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul, of all people. So, Christian, tell us, are you nervous?
Well, I'm nervous, but I'm going to make an unconventional. I'm going to make an unconventional endorsement. So you know, everyone's going to be tuned in for this unconventional endorsement, and we'll just have to see how it goes.
Well, who are you going to endorse?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about one of the three things: either the people, or the Constitution. I can't remember the third.
Well, I mean, I'm getting great. Declaration of Independence.
Ah, that's it. That's right.
Well, it seems that Christian is not yet ready to declare, but given what's going on here, and everybody, you know, Bryan Preston and I down here, we're asking everybody how they're asking us, because we're supposedly pundits of some sort or other. We're not. Who's going to win tomorrow, the primary on Saturday? And we have no idea, but we asked them. Then we asked them also, well, you know, what's with all the Gingrich scandal? Does this bother you? And they shrug their shoulders. So we don't know. We honestly don't know. What's your prediction, Christian?
Well, I'll tell you, I drove here. I'm crazy. I shouldn't have done it. But I drove across South Carolina, and I did not see a single Romney sign in the entire state. I was on back roads. I saw hundreds of Gingrich signs everywhere. If that's any indication of momentum, it doesn't look good for Romney.
Interesting. Well, you know, I flew down here on what could be called the zoo plane with Babe Buchanan sitting a couple of seats from Deborah Wasserman and Schultz, if you can believe that. Anyway, I'm going to turn this back to you, Alexis, and back to El Segundo.
Well, thank you, Roger. And standing by right now in Charleston, South Carolina as well is the PJ Tatler's own Bryan Preston. And Bryan, you know, what's the big story here? You know, we keep seeing the story about Newt Gingrich and what this interview is going to do to his campaign. What's the mood like there on the ground? Do you think it's going to matter to voters?
Well, I think it's anybody's guess at this point. If you look at the polls right now, actually Newt Gingrich is surging, oddly enough, even with this revelation coming out. And it just may be that you see a sympathy vote come for him, because people just, the idea of getting hit like this right before a primary by an ex-wife from 15 years ago, I mean, it's unprecedented. We haven't had this before. We haven't had anything close to this before. So it's really hard to guess. I don't even want to attempt to guess at this point. One thing is certain, though. The debate tonight is going to be one of the weirder ones we've ever seen. I mean, have we ever seen a debate with this kind of cloud hanging over it in this important a state that has a 100% record for choosing Republican nominees? I don't remember anything like this ever before.
You know, if the primary wasn't a clown car before, it's definitely gotten to that level now. And, you know, Mitt Romney's had to have probably one of the worst weeks of his campaign. He had that terrible performance Monday. We see the news of his tax returns. I mean, what is the strategy here? I mean, why is he handling this so poorly? Why can't he just come out with his tax returns?
You know, I've been asking that question all week. This has to be a question that he knew would come up for 5 years, and even longer than that, because he ran last time around too. And yet he was unprepared for it on Monday. I even wrote Monday night, you know, he could have set this whole thing back with a flourish by pulling his tax returns out and saying, here they are, throwing them on the desk. But he didn't do that. He wasn't prepared, and all week long, this thing has dogged him. It would serve him well, it really would, to get this out of the way, make it old news, and then move on with the campaign. He hasn't done that. I think one of the reasons is he hasn't been vetted. The other candidates have spent so much time going after each other and tearing each other apart, they never bothered to go after him.
Yeah, that's true. And, you know, he's kind of benefited from some good luck, because we had the Gingrich bombshell. And, you know, today Rick Perry decided to withdraw from the race. How do you think him leaving is going to affect this primary?
Well, it's hard to see it having a huge effect, actually, because his support was so low at this point. And I think that may be a reason that he dropped out today. They must have seen a poll at some point today, an internal or something, that showed them not doing well. And yeah, he threw his support behind Newt Gingrich. They've been old friends for years, but then one of his key supporters here in South Carolina went to Romney, and another of his key supporters has already gone to Santorum. So at this point, it's hard to see it having a huge effect, except that it might tighten the race a bit between Gingrich and Santorum.
You know, Bryan, we do have the debate tonight, and I think CNN is probably just going to let them have a battle royale on the stage tonight. What are some of the things that you're looking at tonight?
Well, you know, if CNN is smart, they'll just provide a couple of bowls of Jell-O and pudding and just let them go at it. But that's not what's going to happen. I really do look for, you know, Romney to face some defense, to be on the defensive a bit because of this tax story. But then Newt Gingrich is going to be on the defensive a bit because of his own story that we're all talking about with his ex-wife. Really, we've never seen anything like this. I can't wait, honestly. It's going to be fun.
Well, Bryan, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to getting a report from you tomorrow as well.
Thanks, Alexis. Good to see you.
And stay tuned for more of our 2012 election coverage. For PJTV, I'm Alexis Garcia.